Good afternoon, everyone, on Facebook Live. Thank you for joining us. Or good morning, good afternoon, good evening, I should say, rather, to everybody who is joining us on this amazing Zoom. Thank you for being here. And thank you to my guest, Dr. Suchitra, for joining me, and to Dr. Meena as well, who has joined us kindly at very short notice. Thank you so much. It's amazing and a pleasure to meet you, sir, as we've connected for a little while. Okay, I'll go straight in. We're going to be discussing Dr. Suchitra's work with Salveo Therapeutics, and I'll get right into it. So Dr. Suchitra Kataria is a digital health doctorpreneur. He's the founder of Salveo Therapeutics, the company behind sickle cell disease management app, My Sickle Care. Salveo is deeply rooted in sickle cell disease patient education, advocacy, and awareness by leveraging technology. Dr. Kataria is passionate about digital health and has authored several publications in international journals. He also serves as a reviewer for several international journals on digital health and artificial intelligence and ML. I've forgotten what that means, so he'll remind me. Sorry, sir?
Machine learning.
Machine learning. Thank you. His area of interest is digital health solutions that can improve patients' lives in low and middle income countries. So welcome. And thank you for joining us in the evening in Singapore. We were just discussing.
Thanks, Mavi. Mine.
You're welcome. Thank you. So yes, as many people know, my name is Pamela. I am a sickle cell trait patient, an advocate, a warrior, and I do as much as I can to spread awareness of sickle cell trait, the risks, and highlight my story and what happened to me, because I think that a lot of medical attention is mainly on sickle cell disease, with sickle cell trait patients not really understanding that they can live a normal, healthy life. However, there are things that you do need to know if you have sickle cell trait. And so this is my story. Was I knew I had the trait growing up, but then ended up suffering the worst crisis of my life. I've always suffered growing up and into my adult years, but then suffered the worst crisis of my life in 2020. And that's when my advocacy started, my advocacy journey. And along this journey, Dr. Suchitra found me, which is amazing. I'm so grateful to him, and his work is amazing. So I'm going to let you guys just listen to Dr. Suchitra and join in, ask questions. It would be interesting to hear what the audience are thinking on Facebook. So please join in, and then we'll introduce Dr. Meena. In fact, let me bring her on camera. Lovely. Thank you. Okay, Dr. Suchitra, the floor is yours.
All right. Thanks, Mavi. Thanks for the introduction. And obviously, thanks for giving me an opportunity. I mean, obviously, it's been a pleasure to connect with so many individuals and interact with them virtually. So it's been a great opportunity. So obviously, we incorporated Salveo way back in 2000. This was when the pandemic was just about to start. And in January we incorporated Salveo Therapeutics, but obviously there was a lot of work which was going on beforehand. So I had spent a fair bit of time in 2019 meeting all the key opinion leaders, patients, policy makers, administrators, to understand what sickle cell disease is all about. Obviously, I'm a clinician, but obviously I'm not practicing at this point in time. I've been working in the corporate world all this while. So, and where I hail from, as I told you during our pre-meeting discussions, I hail from, obviously that's the hotbed of sickle cell disease. So I hail from central part of India, and you would find huge prevalence of patients in that part of India. So obviously that was the trigger point. That was the interest area, that perhaps sickle cell disease obviously is a neglected disease. It has gained a fair bit of limelight now in media. Obviously, Indian government last year undertook this program that they need to fight sickle cell disease. They need to eliminate sickle cell disease. So Indian government has set out a target of 2047 to eliminate sickle cell disease from India. And obviously, they've undertaken plenty of activities. They've stepped up screening in a big way. So, but then this came into limelight only last year, and obviously in media as well, international media as well. There has been different set of discussions about sickle cell disease, what patients undergo, etc., etc. But prior to that, when I started, obviously it wasn't under so much of limelight. People were not aware actually. So obviously, near 19, we spent fair bit of time, as I told you about Dr. Deepti Jain, who was then the head of the department of pediatrics at Government Medical College, Nagpur. Nagpur again is in central part of India, and she's been at the forefront of sickle cell disease awareness, treatment, screening, everything she's done all throughout her career. She has decades of experience. So she's been actually, she helped me a lot in providing the insights, and obviously giving her perspective on the program, the intended program. She gave me her insights. Obviously, as we discussed offline, that the next meeting we'll probably try and bring her in and get her experience and insights so that it benefits the larger population of patients. So so obviously I've been interacting with all these different individuals, and when we were just about to start. We started a pilot as well with Dr. Deepti Jain Center in December 2019, and just when we were about to start with the app work, then the pandemic stuck, and obviously we got slowed down in the meanwhile, because there were several series of lockdowns everywhere. But obviously, we pulled through, and because of several delays due to various reasons, we managed to create our app called My Sickle Care. And My Sickle Care app is alive. We have around, say, 2,500 patients odd already on the app. And this app is actually Android only at this point in time, because our hypothesis initially was most of the patients are using Android phones. That was actually the situation in India then. And obviously, I extrapolated that to Africa. I said, fine, I mean, situation in Africa is not going to be any better, and obviously the patients might be using primarily the Android phones. So we said, let's just stick to Android at this point in time, and we'll see how it goes. But off late, in past a few months, in past 5-6 months, actually, I've been receiving a lot of actually requests to have the iOS version, and some of the requests is actually coming from Africa. so, so that's a paradox. In India, most of the sickle cell patients are using Android phones. Apple has now started making headway in India. We have started finding users, the Apple phone users in India. But having said that, it's been primarily the Android phone. So that was the whole hypothesis behind creating only Android mobile app. So we launched the app in 2022, second quarter. And since then, it's been steady. I mean, we had expected that it's going to spread like wildfire. I mean, again, when you go out with anything, and since you are the founder, you're emotionally attached to that. It's like your baby. So obviously we thought, oh, it's going to be spreading like wildfire. Every sickle cell patient will download it, they'll use it, etc., etc. But obviously it wasn't so. We were in for a rude shock, a reality check. Let's put it this way. So we witnessed slow downloads, maybe 50 a month, 70 a month, 80, 100, etc., etc. So it's been slow and steady. And then in 2022, actually, we started organizing plenty of webinars. So we used to organize webinars involving different opinion leaders and different clinicians, actually, who would come and participate, give their insight. Free meeting, like the way we are holding at this point in time.
Yes.
We would organize Zoom meetings. And for example, Dr. Deepti Jain would come. Dr. Meena was there as well. So each month we would have a dedicated specialist. So it would be OBG, it would be a dentist, it would be a pediatrician, it would be any other specialist, or we had a mental health expert. We had a doctor turned motivational speaker as well.
Wow.
So
that would be interesting.
I mean, I can invite him anytime. So he lives in Dubai. So So I mean, obviously, if you want, I mean, we could invite him, and he's always ready to volunteer. So
Hmm.
if we are organizing any other meeting, he'll be very much open to participating and helping us.
I'd love that. Yes, thank you.
Initially, we would find the participation to be very less, hardly few handful would participate. Then it reached somewhere like 50 figure, and then it was a kind of downhill. A
Hmm.
few participate, and we would see the same users or same individuals, maybe two or three would join. So we
Hmm.
stopped. I mean, we did that for 7, 8 months, then we
Hmm.
stopped.
Hmm.
Obviously, it's for the patients, and if they're not joining in, if they're not benefiting, then obviously it doesn't serve any purpose.
Yes.
So these were the initiatives we undertook to help the patients.
Hmm.
Uh, so created a WhatsApp group. So we have WhatsApp group. One is dedicated for all the genders.
Hmm.
Later on, we said, okay, since as I told you, we are planning to start a study, clinical study,
Yeah.
solely women, because of the chronic pain and acute pain, different facets, what
Yeah.
triggers, relationship with periods,
Yeah.
relationship with age, adolescence, youth, middle
Hmm.
age, what are the triggers, what are the relief factors, type of pain, intensity of pain. Obviously, these facets are not understood very clearly in women. I mean,
Yeah.
obviously, in both genders, but in women, less so. So
Yes.
why don't we actually start a study? And obviously, Dr. Meena is going to be leading that study very soon.
Hmm.
And we are in the process of actually making some modifications in the app because we figured out if we were to capture certain elements, because these are
Hmm.
going to be reported outcomes,
Hmm.
we need to make some changes in the app. So some frames are being incorporated, some changes at the front end, back end, etc. is going on at this
Hmm.
point. And hopefully, I'm hoping that in the coming maybe in a fortnight, we should have the app ready with the modified frames,
Fab.
and the study could be initiated.
Okay, so what about like the Western world as such? Could we sort of join in, those of us on Android, could we join in, download the app as well?
Oh yes, very much. So it's a global app. Anybody
Okay.
can. So let me tell you, the app is actually available in 5 languages.
Oh wow.
So it's available in English,
Uh-huh.
Hindi obviously is the mother tongue in India, is the national language in India.
Yeah.
And then what we also figured out that patients again are specific to certain language, mother tongue. For
Yeah.
example, we've 3 states of India which are actually where Hindi is not the primary language. For example,
Okay.
there's Orissa, so Oriya is spoken. There's Marathi in Maharashtra, and there's
Hmm.
Gujarati in Gujarat. These are again these sickle cell endemic states. So for the sake of audience, actually, I figured out that slide. Let me
Hmm.
just show you. I found this presentation actually I made for Dr. Deepti Jain some time back. She was presenting
Hmm.
at NIH. So I had helped her in making her slide. So I found that presentation actually. She presented this at NIH in 2019, I think in October. October, yeah. So this is actually the sickle cell map. So if you look at the map, can you see it?
Yes, I can. Yeah. I can't
Yeah.
make out the key at the bottom, but yeah, I'll let you
So this
discuss.
is the map, and the center part of India and these states, for example, Gujarat, there's Madhya Pradesh, there's Chhattisgarh, there's Orissa here, there's Maharashtra here. So these are the states which are most, and of course Jharkhand as well, which is again here, yeah, eastern part of eastern state in India. So these are the states which are most affected with sickle cell disease. Right, you wouldn't find these sickle cell patients in say Karnataka much. It would be mainly because of migration.
Wow.
For
And with
example,
sickle cell, would sickle cell trait come under the sickle cell genre in classification of disease in this particular map, would you say?
yeah. So again, this is actually not precisely sickle cell trait and sickle cell. Let me see how it's actually shown. No, yeah. So if you look at these indicators here,
Hmm.
mentioned,
Hmm.
the trait and it has the sickle cell anemia,
Ah,
and
okay.
here you see the type. You have the Arab India and you have the
Yes.
Arab Senegal and Arab. So these are the haplotypes as well.
Yeah.
So these are the the main traits of sickle cell patients you would find in India. So this is something I fished out
Mm-hmm.
because I wanted to give a kind of perspective on how the disease. So, for example, northeastern states of India here, you
Mm-hmm.
wouldn't find any sickle cell patient unless it's migration.
Wow.
For example, in the US,
Mm-hmm.
you sickle cell, there are 100,000 patients in US.
Mm-hmm.
This is mainly because of migration from Africa. These are all African Americans and a little bit of Latinos.
Yes. Yeah.
So same thing again. It's mainly because of the human migration. For example, sickle cell is found in Brazil as well, and
Mm-hmm.
that's also the migration.
Mm-hmm.
So the and same thing with Caribbeans as well. It's
Mm-hmm.
all human migration. You would find still some sickle cell patients in there are 15,000 sickle cell patients in UK.
Mm-hmm.
It's all because of migration, because people of African origin have migrated into UK, and
Mm-hmm.
they're brought in the sickle cell gene.
Yeah, yeah. And some Mediterraneans, we've I had a Caucasian lady kindly share her story as well with me. And she's a wonderful member of our group. And yeah, she's my fellow sickle cell trait warrior sister. And she shared her story of her and her daughter being disbelieved because she's white, and that's I guess the stigma. It's since since starting this group, I've met so many people, predominantly from Black Afro-Caribbean, backgrounds. But then also I've met white people from, some of them don't, I guess they don't realize that they're Mediterranean history as well.
Yeah.
Um, but then, yeah, and then we've met plenty Hispanic. I don't want to um rule out anyone that I've met along the way, but we've met people from all walks of life, different ethnic backgrounds, and it's just amazing. We've all just come together to support each other in our journeys with sickle cell trait and having symptoms and just being bewildered because we've been taught for so long that sickle cell trait doesn't have symptoms, but then even on the I can't remember the website, but the National Center for, I can't remember the actual abbreviation, but the International Center for Disease, um, their website actually does state that you can, with sickle cell trait, have symptoms. And you've had experience of treating sickle cell trait patients, right? So, yeah, we're
So
just changing our mindset now.
yeah, so again in Mediterranean, you would find thalassemia more. I mean, thalassemia is more prevalent in the Mediterranean region,
Yes.
but sickle cell is not found so much. It's
Mm-hmm.
again primarily, but again, I have come across some people with with Latin, with origin in Latin America.
Mm-hmm.
It could be because of the intermixing of the genetic trait,
Mm-hmm.
or genes from Africa maybe.
Mm-hmm.
Brazil, you see so much of mixing of individuals. Brazil
Yeah.
is huge melange, or a huge mixture. I mean, because of the mix of the intermixing of so many people.
Mm-hmm.
Same thing of the US as well.
Yeah.
So, but having said that, you find sickle cell patients in Middle East quite a lot.
Yes. Yeah.
Oman, I've come across. I mean, I've interacted with sickle cell leaders in Bahrain. I've interacted with sickle cell leaders in Saudi Arabia as well.
Mm-hmm.
These are the places where you would find sickle cell patients.
Yes. Yeah.
Australia also, they do exist, but again, they're also of African origin.
Yes. Yeah. I've
So
connected with a lady, a fellow sickle cell trait warrior, and she's Zambian as well. So Agnes in software, she runs a sickle cell global initiative, and she's based in Australia. So yeah, like you said, there's a lot of African origin patients that have moved over, and yeah, um, we're kind of hearing of sickle cell in Australia now a lot more, and she does amazing work as well. Her advocacy is amazing.
yeah, I mean, again, this has given me an opportunity to interact with so many people across the world. I mean, again, I connected with you.
Yes.
I connected with so many people, like, from Nigeria, from Tanzania,
Yeah.
from Uganda. I mean, again, this has given me tremendous opportunity to connect with sickle cell leaders from different parts of the world. and again learn
Definitely.
from them. I mean, it's been a tremendous set of learning, getting insights from them, getting
Mhm.
how the healthcare system works in their country.
Yeah.
The sickle cell patients are actually getting care, and obviously
Mhm.
different models operate in different parts of the world.
Yes, definitely. It's quite interesting to hear different stories of, patient care and or I guess sometimes lack of as well. With sickle cell trait, I think that the battle is that so many, I guess even clinicians as well, we've had good and bad experiences. In my case, all my experiences have been, oh, you can't have, you can't have symptoms. It's very rare, but then okay, I'm rare, but please treat me now. So a lot of clinicians, it's been a fight because no one seems to believe, and I guess that the information medically is very limited as well, isn't it? So it's what was your experience in medical school with sickle cell trait? Finding out about patients with the trait suffering symptoms.
Well, I mean, when I was in med school, obviously sickle cell was just one chapter or a small chapter actually of
Yeah.
or pathology. So
Mm-hmm.
obviously, this was way back in 90s actually when I was in the med school.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, so there wasn't much of awareness about sickle cell then.
Yeah.
Uh, though the med school where I went to, and obviously Dr. Meena is my classmate,
Mm-hmm.
uh, where we went to actually, um, that's actually the hotbed of sickle cell disease.
Wow.
But having said that, the awareness was very, very low. And even then, the hydroxyurea was not even introduced actually. So hydroxyurea
Yeah.
usage started way back in early 2000.
Mm-hmm. Wow.
Early 2000, I think the hydroxyurea was initiated or it became the mainstream treatment for sickle cell disease.
Mm-hmm. Wow.
So we have a history of almost like 2 decades with hydroxyurea, and obviously
Mm-hmm.
new drugs have come in very recently. I mean, we've
Mm-hmm.
seen which has been withdrawn from UK. Uh,
Yeah.
just a couple of months ago, it was withdrawn from UK because NICE directed Novartis to withdraw prasanilizumab from UK.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, Also, we've seen Voxelotor. Voxelotor is not available in UK. I'm not too sure if it's available in UK, but Voxelotor was again. I think what was approved way back in 2000, if I'm not wrong.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, but therapeutics, sorry, 99. Sorry,
Mm-hmm.
2019 or 20. One of these years, it got approved.
Mm-hmm.
So these are some of the drugs, and again, many more are in the pipeline.
Yeah, yeah. That's interesting. I mean, it's a shame because I've never been offered the option to have those as treatment options, but thankfully now I'm being given, appropriate medication, pain relief medication, and other things that I know to help myself as well, which a lot of the time it is about just self-management, and just going to hospital if in crisis and you feel like you can't cope. um, I still have a bit of a phobia of attending hospital in crisis because I've kind of it's programmed in my mind of how to deal with it myself um now. And pain medication, I'll just work it out unless I have another incident like 2020. But pray, God willing, I won't have any sort of major crises that are that bad again. Um, or at least, now I'm in a better position. I'm also using a digital app for self-care management. I'm the first sickle cell trait patient in the UK with access to this particular app. It's Sanius Health. Um,
Mhm.
and the lady who introduced me, when we had our interview, she got such a shock. She had full-blown sickle cell disease, and so when she asked me what my genotype was, I kind of avoided around the question, and I told her what I was going through instead. And it was at the time when I was at part of the worst recovery initially after the major crisis, and the trauma was so fresh and so real. And I was telling her the symptoms that were still ongoing, and she said, okay, so what's your genotype? When she went to the bit to put my genotype in, and I told her I'm HBAS. And she was like, huh? She was just so shocked. She said, but I have sickle cell. And she said, I have full-blown sickle cell disease, and she was just shocked that I was going through the same thing as her, and then had complications from having a crisis, a major one. And she was like, "Oh my gosh," she said, "I have to speak to the CEO and try and get you on the program." And she went away, and then she reconnected with me later the same day, and she said, "We have to have you on the program." And so I've been thankfully managing my health that way, inputting my patient outcomes. So digital healthcare, I think, is a big step in phenomenal direction, because at least it helps you to kind of weigh up your outcomes and see the risks, see what kind of triggers you have, what kind of things you did, because you're journaling as well, adding, any things that stick out in your mind, things that you might have done. Say exercise could have been a trigger for some, or high altitude being another trigger for another person, or flying even. Um, I've had experiences with all of those things. So at least I'm able to kind of weigh up, or if I've had a really bad night's sleep for a few nights, then I know that fatigue is going to trigger crisis for me. So it's a phenomenal thing that, you've started this work. It's really, really good. And I think having access, I think we'll definitely be in touch anyway when the iOS version gets rolled out, because I think a lot of people in the Western countries tend to use iPhones a lot. But then I just moved from I'm now an iPhone addict, because it's I mean, I can connect all my devices and it's fantastic. So yeah, I was Android. Sorry, Dr. Kataria.
But then again, that's not so. Even I'm actually an iPhone user.
Uh-huh.
And, when I made the app, and obviously that's when I bought another Android phone just to
Yeah.
run this app
Yes.
and test it out.
Yeah.
So I mean, I see that dilemma everywhere. I mean, I've come across so many individuals who've actually made a switch from Android to iOS. But
Yeah.
having that, you wanted me to quickly chronicle and share what we are doing in digital health.
Yes.
So
Yes, please go ahead.
the screen now.
Uh-huh.
So this is the poster actually we created for Doctor's Clinic. So obviously what this app is all about, and we've enlisted what are the different things and what benefit it gives to the patients. So here you see the bullet points, if you can see the screen. And there's an SMS support program, and there's this QR code. They can just using the QR code, they can just go to the Play Store and download the app. So wherever the sickle cell warriors are, whichever part of the world they are, and obviously they can just go to Android Play Store, Google Play Store, and just search for My Sickle Care, and this is the app, and you can immediately figure out, you can just find it and download it. And what I'll also do is, just for the sake of explanation, what the app is all about,
Mm-hmm.
uh, I'll quickly. This is again the old version of the app, and so
Okay.
not the latest version. So this is how the app looks like. They can choose. We've changed, so whichever language they are in, they can choose,
Mm-hmm.
and then obviously gender. Yeah. So yeah. So it's actually not just for sickle cell. We've added two more here.
That's
This was
wonderful.
way back in 2022 early. I have that version of file, but
Mm-hmm.
not. This is not even the pre-release. This is the initial developmental file I found, because obviously demonstrating the app on the through Zoom is again a challenge. It's a problem because
Yeah,
individuals
yeah.
not see it on the screen. So I found the old file, and I said, okay, just for the sake of description, what the app is all about, for the sake of audience, I would just so there are two more types
Mm-hmm.
here. So there's straight, as you had asked me that is it meant for only sickle cell SS patients or AS both? So it's again
Okay.
for anybody. In India, you would find sickle cell thalassemia as well. So sickle
Yes.
cell has beta thalassemia.
Mm-hmm.
So have five total six types of sickle cell subtypes, and they
Mm-hmm.
can whichever type they belong to,
Mm-hmm.
and their blood group, and yeah, again the homepage actually has changed as well. So homepage
Awesome.
gives you the temperature
Mm-hmm.
and humidity, wind speed, etc. Because as you know, temperature is most important.
Yes.
Where cell warriors need to restrict themselves from direct heat, they need to hydrate themselves. So obviously, we've made some changes on the home screen as well. So
Mm-hmm.
once finish registration, this is the home screen. And now, obviously, the temperature, the wind speed, etc., of whichever location they are in,
Mm-hmm.
whichever cell warrior is in, they would
Wow.
put the temperature, the prevailing temperature, and the wind speed
Mm-hmm.
and
Yes.
humidity.
Oh, wow.
So this is where you would. So this has been brought below, and then obviously this is the home page.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, this I'll just give you the basic features. These are the FAQs.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, um, you can actually put your height, weight, etc., water intake,
Mm-hmm.
uh, mood charting, sleep records. Then there is pain, fever, menstrual problems, tiredness, leg ulcer. You can actually tabulate what was the pain duration, which part of the body, Wong Becker scale here. How would you describe the pain? So journaling, as you were highlighting, you were touching upon journaling, which is very, very important. We've
Yes.
actually incorporated. We haven't left any stone unturned actually for the patient to not record. For example, how did it affect your activities? What have you tried? What was the intent? So this is how the report looks like.
Wow.
Uh, what was the
That's
trend?
really in depth. That's wow. That's phenomenal.
Yeah, and this is again. Sorry, I mean this is again the not even a developmental file which I'm actually sharing. So they can actually
Mm-hmm.
update their prescription here. They can
Wow.
put their blood transfusion diary. They can put
Mm-hmm.
their prescription. What was the date? When was it? What
Mm-hmm.
was the impact on hemoglobin percentage? What was the temperature when they had fever? So they could record menstrual problem,
Mm-hmm.
monthly tracker, then obviously mood tracker.
Mm-hmm.
How there is anxiety scale as well, GAD score.
Wow.
Then
Mm-hmm.
there is depression score, PHQ.
Yes.
So they can immediately calculate if they are suffering from anxiety or depression. Then obviously, are they feeling tired? So
Mm-hmm.
then obviously, this is how the report looks like.
Wow.
They can actually take a printout of PDF and share with the doctor, email to the doctor.
That's
Uh,
really good.
looks
That's
like and
that's so important, I think.
yeah. So then again, my medicine, they can put a drug reminder,
Mm-hmm.
hydroxyurea, whatever dose they have to take, whatever is the dosage, whatever time they want to set forth, they can put forth the reminder for folic acid, ibuprofen.
Oh,
So
wow.
within that, we've actually listed out the drug itself. So the drugs
Mm-hmm.
are listed there, whichever is the drug,
Mm-hmm.
capsule, injection, they can actually choose. So once they take the cursor there,
Mm-hmm.
you get 5 6 options: hydroxyurea, folic acid, commonly used medications for sickle cell, and you
Wow.
could reminder here.
Mm-hmm.
uh, yeah, then you could record manually.
Mm-hmm.
Then have side effects of hydroxyurea. You can tabulate side effects of hydroxyurea.
Mm-hmm.
Um, the basic education of sickle cell disease, what it is, etc., why it
Mm-hmm.
happens. Then
Wow.
other various other things about career. Then patient stories. We
Oh,
have
that's incredible.
so these are some of the features. Actually, yeah, this is again about what to do for studies,
Mm-hmm.
career goals. These are the
Wow.
options you could do. These are the resources you for career, for scholarship.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, then again, we have
Wow.
up. So these are pain manage. So these are again different things. What you need to do when you have ulcer, how to take
Yes.
care of ulcer infection. There's ophthalmic dysfunction,
Mm-hmm.
priapism,
Mm-hmm.
emergency, stroke, women specific issue, nutrition, lifestyle, mental health.
Yeah.
So we included everything.
Wow. You really have. I mean, this is amazing because so many of these things I would have loved to at the time had just a button to press at the time to actually some of the things I wouldn't have even realized when I was going through the crisis until I started really reading into sickle cell disease and
Right.
knowing that okay, this is definitely triggered um all these things with my body that was going wrong. and then knowing how to cope. I reached out to the Sickle Cell Society, and the information I got was very limited. But having this and just knowing that, okay, there is a relationship between, stroke or menstrual cycles, and having those things to just be aware of, and a prompt as well to just question. And I'm not saying that everything that we go through with sickle cell, both, disease and trait, is in relation to sickle cell disease, but I do believe that that this is very, very helpful. I think anyone who has Android out there that's listening, in the audience, please download this app and be involved with recording your information, because I think it's amazing. I mean, this is incredible. And then when the iOS comes out, we'll let you know. Dr. Suchitra will have you back on and get you to tell us about the launch, and that would be awesome.
Well, absolutely. So
Amazing.
thank you so much. Of course, but right now, obviously, the focus has been study.
Yeah.
So we've been occupied with making those essential changes, incorporating, and as you know, it involves making changes at the back end as well as front end.
Yeah.
So it's not easy. So the tech team, obviously, our tech support team is actually at hard work. They are making essential changes.
Mm-hmm.
They database changes as well. Then obviously send that to Android App Store for approval, etc. So obviously it would take some time, but obviously
Mm-hmm. Of course.
it is on the agenda to create an iOS version of the app and obviously bring forth more interesting features.
Yeah. Oh wow, I think it's amazing already. I mean, you're saying this is the old version. I'm excited to see what the new version has in store, when it's accessible. But I'm blown away by how much it's already got to offer. That's really amazing.
I mean, if you have the Android phone still, you can download it right away. I
I'm
mean,
gonna see. I'm gonna have a look through my old. I have a couple of old phones. I think I might have an old Android, so I'll have to look out and see if I can download it, because that's awesome.
so please, I mean, whenever you find time, you could fish out your old Android phone. Just go to Play Store, just look for My Sickle Care app, and you could, if
Hmm.
you face any problem, then obviously do let me know because some of the users did mention. I mean, from Africa, they've had some issues.
Hmm.
Uh, fix those bugs. However, if
Okay.
those bugs still remain, we can immediately fix them because we need to be told, right?
Yes,
Feedback has
definitely.
patience. I mean, we can obviously we are wedded to the app. Obviously, as a custodian of app, we are wedded to it. We are into it day in and day out. However, the user has to give us the feedback.
Yes, definitely.
So some of the users did give the feedback, and we did fix this bug.
Hmm.
Uh, and also for the international users outside of India, the authentication or OTPs through email.
Okay.
So and Indian users get the OTP through phone network.
Hmm.
Uh, Again, for the international users, it's just the email-based verification for getting into the app.
Fabulous. Oh, wonderful. Thank you. Oh, that's amazing. I'm really blown away. I'm excited. And for the future of, Salveo Therapeutics. This is, I mean, wow, that's that's amazing.
So much. Thank you.
Um,
So again, I would like to highlight one more thing. I mean, in
uh-huh.
India, we just launched a program with UNICEF
Okay.
in settled part of India. This is again a pilot whereby these are some of the patients have a smartphone, but a lot of these patients actually have basic phone. They don't have
Hmm.
smartphone. So for them, we have a separate program.
Hmm.
So we've just started the program. It got started just a fortnight back, and we're
Yeah.
to see what is the impact and what's the benefit of this program on the feature phone users. Smartphone users, there are some, but on these patients who have just the basic phone, if this intervention really works and how far or to what extent there has been an impact on their lives
Yeah.
for
Wow.
the sickle rate as well as sickle cell anemia patients.
Okay. That's really good. I think that's good. So you'll get feedback on, on how sickle cell has affected each individual patient, and because it varies patient to patient as well.
Right, and then there's sickle cell beta thalassemia as well. So patients
Hmm.
have as well as beta thalassemia.
Yes. Yeah.
So you find such diverse mix of patients hailing from different socioeconomic strata, and these
Mm-hmm.
are bottom of the pyramids.
Mm-hmm.
So it would be really worthwhile to witness some of the changes our program can make,
Mm-hmm.
and the program is ready. If any of the audience who are watching it in Africa, any part of Africa,
Mm-hmm.
you can actually get in touch with us, and we'll be happy to help you roll it out along with your local government or local community or local patient community.
Mm-hmm.
um, we could look for support. Obviously it costs money to send out these messages, etc. There's a cost involved.
Mm-hmm.
You could find these sponsors. There are enough bodies, there are enough NGOs
Mm-hmm.
and organizations who are supporting these initiatives, education initiatives,
Yes.
community participation initiatives.
Mm-hmm.
So hope them in, and obviously we want as many patients as possible to be benefiting from this program.
Definitely. Wow, that's really interesting to know that, you'd be willing to partner with. So that's a way that we can help as well by partnering with Salveo Therapeutics. That's wonderful. Thank you. Um,
Absolutely. The program is ready. See, the program is all available. I mean, and we also ensure, if you've seen our social media handles
yes.
and even the app, every bit of information is medically correct.
Mm-hmm.
Every bit of information, even if it is a small tweet or an Instagram post,
Mm-hmm.
it's all medically correct information and relevant information. Because the biggest issue, what I foresee at this point in time for sickle cell patients and in general as well, there's huge amount of medical misinformation, right?
That's a
Patients are not
big,
getting
yeah,
information, and
big thing.
everything is labeled or packaged as a remedy.
Yeah.
And in the absence of correct information, sometimes the misinformation does more harm to the patient.
Yeah, that's
So
true.
we've ensured, and we ensure right now as well, even when the tweets which we make or even the Instagram posts we make, they're
Mm-hmm.
all they are from credible source.
Mm-hmm.
Anybody and any, so if you've seen, I mean, you are connected with us on social media handles.
Yes. Yeah.
Seen
I've
the posts we make, these are
mhm.
all really correct and coming from all valid resources.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that's our main driving force,
Mm-hmm.
that we able to provide medically correct information to the patients,
Yes.
which helps them in overcoming the problems of sickle cell disease and help them lead good lives.
Yeah. Definitely. I think that's amazing. And that's the key, isn't it? That we have the correct information and, we take it to empower ourselves, that inform ourselves of the problems that, may be encountered, but it's about finding solutions. And this is a fantastic, solution and a prompt as well for patients to help themselves. So I think it's, I'm very, very impressed and very, very grateful to have connected, that we've connected and can help people to access this as well, which it's
Certainly, I mean,
amazing.
in Zambia for that matter, or any part of, or Zimbabwe,
Yeah.
or I'm connected with sickle cell leaders in Zambia, in
Hmm.
Zimbabwe, in South Africa, and various other countries. And
Fantastic.
with you
Hmm.
and sickle cell leaders, we could actually. So our program is ready. All they need
Fantastic.
to do is obviously connect with us, and we could make a kind of proposal
Yeah.
and the relevant body for funding,
Yeah.
and we can figure this out.
That sounds amazing. I'm definitely interested in yeah, pushing further for this. Yes. Wow. I'm blown away. Thank you for that. Um, all the questions that I had, I mean, you've answered already. Oh, the study with menses in women. Can you expand a bit on that study? Has it begun yet, or how is it going to proceed further?
Right. So again, okay, let me give you a, okay, before I just touch upon the study part, let me just
Mm-hmm.
give you a glimpse of how we actually handhold the basic phone users.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, just give me a second.
No
Uh,
problem.
I'll just go to the relevant folder
Mm-hmm.
and pull that out.
Wonderful. Thank you.
So what we do is, Mape, what we have is we follow a ages and stages model.
Mm-hmm.
So the age and the stage of the patient and stage of the disease, all the needs are different, right? The needs of a teenager would be different. The needs of a youth would be different. The needs of a growing child might be different, even with
Mm-hmm.
the with sickle cell disease.
Mm-hmm.
So what we've done is we've created these messages, which are actually from 0 to 60 kind of age group,
Mm-hmm.
and we've created messages for parents because obviously these kids, until they have a phone till their teenage, the parents are the ones who are actually taking care of them, and they have the phone. So
Yeah.
we have messages for parents. So let me just play one or two messages for you so that you get an idea.
Coronavirus or COVID. The goals of managing sickle cell disease are to relieve pain, prevent damage to the eyes, prevent stroke, infection, and avoiding other complications. Follow the advice of your doctor by taking the medicines diligently and other suggested measures. Fruits and vegetables should be cleaned thoroughly with water before consumption and do not keep them open after cutting. Always keep the food covered and ensure that it is safe from flies.
So this is again, these are some of the messages. Let me just play one or two more.
Adolescents and youth need to gradually take steps towards personal and economic self-reliance so that they can become competent and responsible for their own needs, attitude, and feelings.
So these are some of the messages I've played, just so that you get um, you know some bit of idea on how we've created these messages for
Yeah.
different. And these we have created a bank of almost 150 messages for different age group, different set of patients.
Mm-hmm.
And these are relayed
That's
through.
really helpful.
Sorry.
That's really helpful.
Yeah. So thank you. So we have created and these are all medically correct information.
Mm-hmm.
Again, we've bounced them off with the sickle cell experts.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, Meant for youth, meant for parents, meant for women of different age group.
Mm-hmm.
Pregnant, there's a separate message. And there's for older patients, there's a separate message.
Mm-hmm.
So encompassing all the relevant areas, it could be eye care, it could be personal care, career
Mm-hmm.
building, mental health, motivation, all of that.
Wow. That's awesome. Wow. Thank you for playing that. I'm really like excited about this program. This is wow.
And there's SMS as well. So we have SMS messages as well, which we are sending out already through this UNICEF program.
Mm-hmm.
And
That's
again,
awesome.
there's English, there's Hindi, there's
Uh-huh.
Marathi, Odia.
Wow, that's awesome. I'm really, really impressed. And it was only just launched 2 weeks ago, yeah?
Uh,
With you.
So, we- so this was all created way back in 21, 22.
Yeah,
We've
but
already
because
been
of
doing this.
COVID
So
and everything.
there has to be some recipient as well.
Yes.
So for the so we did reach out to certain patients along with, so we have a tie-up with Indian Council of Medical Research.
Mm-hmm.
So their cohort, their center in Madhya Pradesh, we did reach out to the patients last year.
Mm-hmm.
And again, we've started this year. And having said that, I was having some conversation last year with some of the sickle cell community leaders in Africa.
Mm-hmm.
And he said, if you are ready to come on board, we'll be happy to translate that in any other language of your choice.
Mm-hmm.
So one of the leaders actually asked me, I mean, can you convert this into what's the language? I'm just forgetting. So he said, can you convert? I said, yeah, I mean, we can get hold of the translator, native
Mm-hmm.
speaker, have the messages translated.
Mm-hmm. That's awesome.
So,
That's amazing. Wow.
and we can launch it in any part of Africa.
Yeah.
So, I mean,
Wow.
I'm glad we are having this conversation, and with your support, we've been able to beam it to the Facebook group, and it's on Facebook Live. So
Definitely.
whoever is interested in, just reach out to me through social media handle,
Yeah.
or through email, and of course we'll be happy to discuss further.
Definitely. I have a few people in Zambia in mind who I think this will go so far with them, helping helping them. And then there's a sickle cell warrior in, I think he has sickle cell trait. I can't remember if he's in Uganda. I think he's in Uganda. Is it Uganda? Could be Tanzania that I'm thinking of actually. But yeah, one or the other. And I'm thinking there's so many people I want to get involved with this, because I think, we can definitely be the driving force, to get funding and roll it out in communities, just make it a global phenomenon. It's already a phenomenon. Wow.
Or it's Swahili.
Oh, wonderful. Yes.
So somebody asked me that, can you translate this into Swahili? I said, of course, we can translate this into Swahili or any other African language.
Yeah.
Since the files are ready, base files are in English, Hindi. So
Yeah.
translation from base file is always easy.
Yeah, definitely. Oh, wow. I'm excited. That's
So,
awesome. And
so that's a study actually. So we did
yes.
diagram because I wanted to showcase the effort which has gone into and the entire spectrum of program. It's not just restricted to the app, because a lot of sickle cell warriors in Africa I've come across, they're just basic phone users. Some don't even have phones actually. So, so having said that, so the study which we are about to initiate is again based on, as I said, there's very poor understanding of acute and chronic pain within sickle cell patients. More so in women, because obviously women physiology is different from men.
Yeah.
There are various other factors at play when there are greater hormonal plays in women's body because of the menstrual cycle, because
Mm-hmm.
of, so we wanted to create a study. I mean, we wanted to understand, okay, what is the pain, what is the pain's relation with menstrual cycle,
Mm-hmm.
is a menstrual cycle, with pregnancy,
Mm-hmm.
different pregnancy, postpartum period,
Yeah.
how impact. Also in different age groups. I mean, in adolescence, in youth, or middle age, or
Mm-hmm.
in menopausal women with sickle cell disease or trait for that matter. Again,
Yes.
it's not benign. I mean, you are the living example, but even India, Dr. Meena can reinforce this. She comes across the patients very regularly. She's the one who's treating the patients day in and day out.
Mm-hmm.
The trait patients are not benign. The pain is actually triggered during pregnancy or during menstrual cycle as well.
Yeah.
And also during when we do the next meeting, I'll get that sickle cell trait warrior who's
Mm-hmm.
treating with nutrition. So that's my promise to you, and also Dr. Deepti
Thank
Jain.
you. That
So
would be amazing. Thank you.
yeah. So we intend to study this pain pattern.
Mm-hmm.
What is the pain? What is the trigger? What is the intensity of pain? And what is its correlation with these hormonal changes in the body?
Yes.
All along the life cycle of women, all along the different ages and stages of women's life.
Wow.
So that's been the whole objective. And again, having said that, Dr. Meena would be starting this in India once we've made the changes in the app, maybe in a fortnight's time or maybe in a month's time maximum. So we
Oh,
should be able
wonderful.
to start. But having said that, India, okay, fine. We want diversity, right?
Mm-hmm.
Have one specific geographic of patients, fine, it gives you that picture. But
Yes.
greater the diversity of patients, greater the diversity of disease presentation, and obviously the
Mm-hmm.
genetic presentation. Uh,
Yes.
and again, sickle cell is different types,
Yeah.
subtypes. So
Yeah.
greater mix we have, it gives great amount of understanding, insights
Yeah.
for the research community as well.
Yes. Yes.
So that's been the whole objective, and obviously happy to collaborate with you and again the researchers around you,
Mm-hmm.
and how we can actually come together as a cross continental or a cross country group, and also in Africa as well,
That would
and
be
create
awesome.
a larger pool of these patients. And again, it's self-reported, it's patient
Yes.
reported, right? So patient can just tabulate within the app,
Mm-hmm.
and but then obviously we see over say a certain period of time what has been
Mm-hmm.
the impact as per
Yeah.
age, as per hormonal changes, as per pregnancy,
Mm-hmm.
fertility, and obviously that should be able to give good amount of insight and what's the impact of hydroxyurea, etc.
Mm-hmm. Wow. Oh, that's amazing. I look forward to that. Definitely we'll collaborate on that. I'm really, really keen to move forward because my experience has been horrendous. My cycle seems to always trigger excruciating pain and has me bedbound, and other really horrific things go on with me whenever I do have a cycle. So I'm happy to collaborate. And I just want to say hi, Dr. Meena. Thank you so much for joining us. Welcome.
Hello, Miller. Thank you so much for inviting me. And
You're
I am
welcome.
very happy to see you that you are doing such a noble work
Oh,
towards
thank
eradicating sickle cell disease. So I'm really fortunate that you all invited me for sharing my views towards treating sickle patients.
Oh, thank you so
Thank
much, ma'am. It's an honor to have you here. And Dr. Suchitra, thank you so much for inviting Dr. Meena with yourself. And this work is it's I'm so passionate about sickle cell trait, because I think, especially from the trait perspective, because of my own experience, my lived experience has been it's been a challenge, but I'm still here to spread awareness and to show people that life goes on, and how do we move forward? How do we help ourselves? And the work that you both are doing is, it's amazing. So I'm really grateful
We
to you
really
both.
need more people like you for, working on this particular problems.
Yeah. I think the
So
stigma.
I was
Sorry, go
I
ahead,
was
ma'am.
hearing your problem related to menstrual cycle. Was just thinking that it's take people take it very lightly that trait people don't have these symptoms, but I see frequently in patients in our
Mm-hmm.
place like in Chhattisgarh especially, that patients they usually come with trait patients. They also come with all
Wow.
the health issues. So
Mm-hmm.
it's very common here.
Wow. That's so reassuring to hear, because I think for so long I've had, especially in Western medicine, we're always taught the trait is very downplayed. And in hospitals, and when I accessed my GP asking for help, I was literally begging because I didn't know what to do. I didn't know how to help myself. And I was just told it's very rare to suffer symptoms with the trait. And I cried on Friday after speaking to a lady from the Sickle Cell Society who had full-blown sickle cell. And when I was just asking for help, to pursue my, just some clinical help, she was saying, "Oh, I think you need to be careful where you're getting your information from." But I've done thorough research, and then my lived experiences, and with starting a group and meeting so many other sickle cell trait patients who are suffering so similarly to me, and the only factor that we have in common is sickle cell trait. Apart from the ethnic backgrounds, you know it's just heartbreaking hearing everyone's stories being so similar and still being very dismissed. It's still not very common. It's not common knowledge. And I think I realize that I have to speak out even when I don't want to, even because of stigma. I mean, I'm from an African background, and we tend to, everything's silent. We don't speak about things, just get on with it. And I disappear before. Now I have to scream from the rooftops to help people, because if I don't, it might not encourage someone else to speak out. And I think there's nothing to be ashamed of. It's not our fault. It's just something we have to live with. And so now, as the saying goes, I'm an open book, even though I wrote my story because I thought I was going to die. So I thought, if I die, then I need to leave something behind, and maybe someone else will pick up that work as well with sickle cell trait and carry that forward. So thank you so much for even assuring patients that are listening that all isn't, it's not all doom and gloom, but sickle cell trait isn't benign like so many, I think, clinical papers or research state. um, Thank you. Thank you.
I appreciate it. Okay.
Thank you. Oh,
So,
I'm
uh,
emotional.
so I would, but having said that, I mean, for my understanding, okay,
Mhm.
uh, is unlike say India. I mean, I've seen the clinical centers in India, how it works, etc. But I mean, having known NHS, how organized it is, I mean, obviously there are several critiques as well.
Yeah.
But that I have come across the program they've created, they have a guideline, etc., etc. So isn't, when you go to NHS center with your complaints,
Mm-hmm.
isn't the process smooth, streamlined, or you still have to struggle to go get past the initial uh, inertia or
I
resistance?
I've found it's sadly to say, I mean, because I think everybody's just always heard that, oh, it's rare. Even to have my bloods checked with my GP, because when I started having a crisis, it began in my right arm, following exercise, and it was also very, very hot. The summers that we've had the past few years have been extremely, really hot. So I ended up feeling really breathless. And then my skin by 9 p.m., this was 6 p.m., I'd exercised. And then by 9 p.m., around that time, my hand and my skin began to swell and my skin began to really hurt to the touch. And then the pain began. And by the morning, I was in so much pain. My whole right arm was in agony. My stomach swelled. My skin was so painful all over. And then I had fever, and then it began where the stabbing pains began. And that's always sort of been an experience where it will kind of begin similarly, where my skin hurts and then the hand and foot syndrome happens. Um, and yeah, so I called my GP, and um, he kind of at first was like, okay, we'll take blood tests. And then I said, okay, can you take blood tests? And I was expecting they'd do my blood count, and they just checked whether I have sickle cell trait or sickle cell disease. But I said, I know I have trait. I need help. I just need, just check my bloods for me. And that way, because I chased back, and when I did chase, I found out that they hadn't taken my blood count. So I began looking for herbal remedies that would boost my blood myself, because I was afraid of hospital at the time because of COVID. It had just kind of, everybody was in a panic and we were being told not to go. And because I guess growing up being told it's growing pains, I've just kept quiet. And that was where the block came in. I just stayed in my own four walls. My mom kept me home and just would do the heat rub, hot baths, just keeping me as warm as possible, but not too, we didn't even know that extreme temperature, extreme heat could trigger. I didn't know that until this time I've experienced. And then it literally went on for 3 months, and my menses completely stopped. I was so pale. I'm very fair skinned already. I went like a ghost. I was so white. And yeah, I just thought I'm going to die. But thank God, I managed to find holistic remedies that helped, herbal remedies, liquid chlorophyll, and my mom began juicing things for me and helping me that way. Um, but yeah, there was 8 weeks of a delay before my bloods came back to tell me that I was low blood count and inflamed. Um, I didn't even ask to check whether, I was sickling. They didn't check. So I just then had to just fight for myself. And then, yeah, then it continued on and off. My cycle came back in the September, 3 months later. And then when it came back, I just didn't stop bleeding. It just continued almost for a full year. And then I had a stroke in the December, or stroke symptoms in the December, and the stroke nurse said um, it looks like stroke because of the presentation. And even to this day, my right side is weaker than my left. And yeah, it's taken a long time to even cognitively be able to function properly. But again, it's queried as Bell's palsy, so it's been very, very traumatic. My experience was extremely traumatic. I was hospitalized for 9 days when I had this stroke symptoms, but again, it wasn't even a definitive diagnosis, because I have sickle cell trait written in capital letters as my discharge diagnosis, but it was queried Bell's palsy, because I just didn't make sense to the neurologist and everybody that saw me. They were very worried about strokes, but I didn't make sense to them. So it's been, yeah, a very, very traumatic time. But at least I'm on the other side. I feel, at least I'm able to manage now, and I know how to kind of just slow down, physically myself if I feel like I'm doing too much. So it's there's some centers I know are amazing, and they'll do, I guess the patient's own experience comes into into the forefront, and that's used to kind of drive the medical care in a lot of places. I've heard friends speak of their care with sickle cell trait, but then in other cases it's very similar to mine, where some doctors I've found haven't even wanted to take tests, the appropriate tests for people. And I think if we could all join forces, I think, that's the patient experiences, or I guess they should be at the forefront, and then the clinical experience as well as the knowledge, but then we're all learning together, aren't we? So yeah.
So you take hydroxyurea regularly, or you don't?
I've never taken, I don't think I'm even eligible for the drug. So I just take pain management. And yeah, I just do the holistic supplements. That's
Okay.
it.
Yeah. So one more area actually I found as a big unmet need is obviously the mental health.
Yes.
So along with obviously one of the mental health expert working in NHS, actually,
Mm-hmm.
he's helped me a lot. So along with psychiatrists and clinical psychologists, we've created a mental health program as well.
Okay.
Although we haven't made it available, it's ready actually. Just that few things have to be done, and obviously when it was created versus now, few
Mm-hmm.
more have to be added, etc., etc., because there have been certain developments.
Yes.
So the mental health program as well. Obviously, I mean it's ready to the extent of 70-75%. Just that we
Oh.
programming and animations, etc. So that is another facet we would want to bring forth and make it available to the patients all over the world.
Oh,
Uh,
wonderful.
Another thing in the pipeline for that matter,
Oh, I
and
look forward to
that's
that.
as well.
I
I
look
mean,
very forward to that.
want to, but obviously you are constrained by time, resources, uh,
Mm-hmm.
and various other things.
Yeah. But I'll be happy to help as much as I can, to help with getting people on board this side, and in Zambia, I'm definitely anything that you're doing to spread awareness and to help education, with our communities. I think that's, it's a joint effort. So wow, I'm definitely on board.
Thank you so much. I mean, thanks for the kind words. Again, thanks for organizing this event. And again, thanks for being the guiding force. And again, you and we communicate very regularly
Yes.
through social media. And again, it's always good fun to interact with you, catch up with you, and exchange different ideas, thoughts, highlight different issues. So it's always a pleasure.
Yes, likewise. Thank you so much. And Dr. Meena, I'm really grateful to meet you. Is there a way that apart from can you give us the handles for Salveo Therapeutics, and then Dr. Meena, have I would like to hear a little more from you as well. How would we connect? Or you and I can connect anyway after this meeting. I'm sure Dr. Suchitra can forward on my details, or forward me yours if that's okay with you, and then we can connect, and then we can discuss another one of these sessions, and have you
Yeah,
present.
yeah.
That would be
Let
awesome.
I'll
you
be
can
there.
you both are actually on Instagram,
Yes,
and you actually connect there as well. However, I'll pass on each of yours details to both of you,
yes.
nevertheless. But
Thank you.
you are on our Instagram. I mean, Salvio's Instagram. Meena is also following Instagram page of
Mhm.
Salvio. That's another forum where you can actually connect and communicate on regular basis.
Fabulous. Yes, thank you. And
So
wow, I'm just blown away. My heart is literally so, it's just so filled, because I just think these are the discussions that, I wish we'd been having for years and years, but at least we're having them now. So I'm so grateful. I know that there'll be listeners listening as well who are grateful as well, equally. Um, I'm just checking if there's any. Oh, someone said the process is smooth. In answer to how you said in the Western countries, this is a fellow warrior from America. She has sickle cell trait. Um, and she said the process is smooth, but the stigma from doctors tends to alter the patient care. So that's one feedback that she's mentioned. Um, so hi Samantha, hi Faith, blessings, and thank you for watching. And yeah, so that was just a feedback. Um, I don't think anybody else has written anything on Facebook, but yeah, that's just some feedback. I think that's what we need to change together is that stigma in the healthcare system that actually it's not benign, and we're not just making up stories. No one wants to have their life kind of turned upside down and or stopped or not know what's going on with them. Um, it's something we wouldn't make up. You can't. I think patients, when you're going through something as horrific as a crisis, it's I don't think anybody, you can't even describe how traumatic it is physically and then mentally, like you said, because it's something that people can't see, but you're screaming in pain and no one can see what's happening to you, but it's internally your body's feeling like it's killing you or stabbing you. And it's undescribable, really. I think even the worst description doesn't really come close. So yeah, it's something.
Yeah, I've
But,
read on social. Yeah, I mean, one of the I don't remember who had actually posted, but this was some time ago on Instagram, I think. Oh,
mhm.
while you were describing, I sent you Meena's Instagram handle, and
Oh,
Meena,
thank
I
you.
have Pape's Instagram handle. So please check your inbox, and you would find each of yours handles in the mail.
Fabulous. Thank you.
Instagram. So yeah, I mean, somebody actually put forth that it's actually far more intense and far more painful than the child labor. Sorry,
Yes.
when a woman goes into labor, and there's huge amount of pain.
Yeah.
Um, somebody screaming in pain, and and so she described that it's far more intense, far more powerful, far more. Um, I mean, obviously, I can't describe because I haven't felt it, but
Yeah.
the description was such that, I had goosebumps,
Yeah.
and mentioned that it's 10 times more than the labor pains, actually. So
Yeah.
imagine, I mean, I can only imagine, I can only, uh, you that's the only thing I can do.
Yeah. But you're doing so much more. You're doing so much more. So just I think your empathy shines through, and that's, both yourself and Dr. Meena. I just think, the empathy is what we need more of, because I think even even though I've been through it, sometimes I just think, gosh, how did I get through that? But then, and how do I continue to fight, when it gets bad? Because even like on a daily basis, like you said, with chronic pain as well, excuse me, I suffer with a lot of chronic pain, but it's getting through every day, knowing how to manage that pain. And then when it becomes really acute pain, how do I manage the different pains as well? And I think that's something that's a journey for every individual to know, but having that empathy and that support, just knowing that there's medics out there who are willing to lend a supporting hand, that just makes me feel like I can keep going, and I can keep on fighting. And that's such a blessing to have. So I'm so grateful. And I was
So
just thinking,
figured out,
sorry.
sorry, what we figured out in India is again ignorance, because
Yeah.
India, I mean, we've been interacting with patients day in and day out through WhatsApp group, and even within the app WhatsApp group, I find the offtake to be offtake of information, or the knowledgeable information we pass on to the patients to be ambivalent from the patients. And we keep telling them that, drink water,
Yes.
hydration is most important, and they don't listen. Actually,
Hmm.
so their perception is, if they are taking hydroxyurea, if they're taking folic acid, it's more than enough.
Yeah.
But keep on reinforcing that, you have to do a whole set of lifestyle modification measures:
Yeah.
hydration, protecting yourself from infections, vaccination,
Yeah.
protecting yourself from heat, because India is hot country. uh, protecting yourself from pollution, from
Mm-hmm.
smoke, not consuming alcohol or not
Yeah.
consuming tobacco in any form. We've done a lot of activities, but a lot of patients actually don't listen.
Yeah. And that's again a shame, because that's where, do you think that that would be because of lack of awareness, and because it's
Yes,
that lack of education, isn't it?
both. Actually,
Yeah.
lack of awareness, and it's a stigma here also, like you said.
Yes. Yeah.
Um, I always say patients that take proper rest, proper
Hmm.
hydration,
Yeah.
and sleep, and then nutrition.
Yes.
You have to take live food. We call it vegan. Be vegan. So
Yeah.
I'm not, I mean, forcing you to be vegan, but yes, definitely.
Yeah.
Food which is rich of, we call it prana. You
Yes.
take all green vegetables and food vegetables having lots of water.
Yes.
So then, so these are very important thing and very easy also.
Yeah.
So in
Definitely.
India, we always say that take folic acid regularly, and
Hmm.
then, as I said, proper nutrition, proper sleep, and proper water hydration.
Yeah. Definitely.
And
I think.
do what you like to do. I mean, you have to, what you love to do. Do those things, and
Yeah.
just keep the stress away from your mind.
Yeah.
So, like, these are the simple.
But
I mean,
effective measures.
yes. Mm. Prevention is always better than cure, because we are, as you know, it's a low income country. We
Yeah.
have less equipments, infrastructure, health resource, HR.
Yeah.
So it's better to, but it's, I mean, because of lack of education,
Hmm.
yeah, you can say that we are not very much concerned about prevention part. We are not
Yeah.
aware of that.
Yes.
So needs to be, I mean, we have to learn to take measures for prevention. So
Yeah. 100%. I fully agree. I think that's one thing I've realized now, is that not everybody, even those that are asymptomatic with sickle cell trait, you know, even if they don't suffer, they can, there's environmental factors can change that so quickly. So, I think they just need to be aware that, you may not have any symptoms ever, but if you prevent and put these measures, these additional measures in, you can definitely safeguard yourself as you grow older, as your body changes. Because I've noticed, as my body's changed, I've not been able to bounce back to getting on with things like I used to. And I guess progression of, I guess, having crises, but then never really having appropriate treatment in a timely manner has made it harder for my body to bounce back. Um, so now it's okay, what can I do now? How can I help myself now? And just learning as I go along, and doing like exactly what you said, the dark green veg. We have that almost every day now. A lot of dark green veg, even though African countries, my mom always grew up with vegetables, predominant in vegetables, and then sometimes chicken, but we would have a lot of dark green veg. But now it's something that I'm consciously having daily, um, just so that I keep myself as nourished as possible. Um, and if I don't feel like eating, I'll do like a smoothie of fruits and vegetables together, and that way it's just keeping me going. And plenty, plenty, plenty water. I hope you can see. Yeah, I've got my water bottle. So yeah, I had half during the night. Would you believe? And then I'm still drinking. I filled it again to the top. So yeah, I'm always hydrating.
Yeah, that's extremely
that's
important.
nice. Mm.
So do I. I mean, living on equator, we need plenty
Yes.
of. And even I consume 4 or 5 liters of water every day.
Yeah, it's people underestimate how beneficial water is to the body, and we need it so for everything. So yeah, just breathing out, we lose water, isn't it? Breathing. So yeah.
Yeah, and
Um,
sweating it as well. I mean, obviously,
yes.
you don't sweat much in UK.
Yeah.
Uh, I mean, right now it's not even spring, or has the spring started? Or maybe.
I think they say it's the beginning of spring, the end of March, I believe. So I think tonight, well, the clocks change anyway in the middle of the night for some crazy reason. But yeah, so in the middle of the night, the clocks change. So I've determined I'm going to sleep early, but I believe it's the beginning of spring is the 1st of April, I believe. I think. I'm
Right.
not
So
sure.
it's saving starts tomorrow.
Yes, yeah. But it's still, I'm cold. I have layers. I've got a long sleeve and my cardigan, and I have my scarf on my lap. So yeah, I'm cold.
Right.
Always cold. But
Right.
I'll just say thank you to both of you for attending. And Dr. Meena, I look forward to a future session where you can present and share a bit more about your experiences and your work as well. And Dr. Suchitra will definitely do more of these. Always, we'll be in communication.
Certainly.
Thank you. Thank you.
Certainly. Thanks for having me, and obviously thanks for giving me an opportunity to connect with so many sickle cell warriors across the world. And of course, we'll be in touch. We'll keep communicating, and of course, look forward to how we can actually collaborate and make this program available to warriors across Africa. Who
That would
need
be
it?
amazing. Thank you so much, sir. And thank
Right.
you, Dr. Meena. Thank you so much
Thank
for
you.
being here. I'll just make one final announcement, and then I think before we get cut off at past, we'll say bye for now, and then reconvene at a later date. I have an announcement to make to everyone who isn't able to access the ebook of my story, which is available now as an ebook on Amazon Kindle and also on lulu.com. So for those who prefer electronic books, my story is available that way, and the production of the audio book on Audible is also in production. So that will be ready for those who, if ever in so much pain you can't hold a book, well, the audio file is there, so you'll have something to use to advocate for yourself through my story. And yeah, that was my only announcement. And then we're looking forward to World Sickle Cell Day. So everyone on the in the group, keep posted. We will update you as we go along. We're making plans for a really nice World Sickle Cell Day production event. So thank you all.
Have a nice day ahead.
Thank you, and rest well.
Thank
Dr.
you.
Meena, thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you all for watching. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.